Alright guys, welcome back to the channel and the very first gameplay of WWE 2K Battlegrounds, as we have some brand new gameplay courtesy of IGN. So let's take a look at this new footage as we start out with the game's selection screen, where you can see the devs have gone with full-sized previews of the characters, which is handy considering all of the different attires. You'll also notice that the characters are grouped into different categories, as we have Andre the Giant and The Undertaker as powerhouses, Edge, Daniel Bryan, The Rock and John Cena as all-rounders, Stone Cold and The Fiend as brawlers, Xavier Woods as a technician, and Jeff Hardy and Rey Mysterio as high flyers. Each of the characters also comes with their own set of power-ups, which are defined by their category. However, you can switch these out to any of the different power-ups that you've unlocked by pressing RT. Also shown on this screen, you'll notice the rarity of the characters and the attires that they're wearing, with the characters shown off being rare, epic and legendary. As for the ratings, the demo build has 11 superstars available for the men, with The Rock rated the highest at 95, Stone Cold Steve Austin and John Cena 94, Undertaker 93, Daniel Bryan 91, The Fiend and Andre the Giant 90, Edge 89, Rey Mysterio 87, Xavier Woods 86 and Jeff Hardy 83. So that's the selection screen and the ratings, but let's jump into the gameplay, starting out with this fatal 4-way action set in the Everglades with Xavier Woods, Edge, Andre the Giant and The Rock. One of the first things you'll notice is the controls popping up, as this shows just above the character HUD, where it lists all the different options available in your current state, which is handy for newcomers. However, it can be turned off in the options. Switching to ringside, we have Woods taking out Andre the Giant with this awesome Hurricane Rana. However, the thing that I want to focus on here is the crocodile, which has been the main focus of the game's trailers, and thankfully we now get to see it in full, as we see Edge carry The Rock over to it before he then throws him in its direction, where he's then caught and chewed before he then gets thrown back to ringside. Now, as far as I know, this interaction with the croc isn't a special move, as you don't need anything stored in order to do it, as you only need to throw your opponent into the croc's direction, where it'll then automatically attack. Back in the ring, here we have the camera cutting away to show off Andre the Giant's finisher, as he drops a big elbow drop, which is kind of awkward when it comes to multi-man matches, especially if you're in the middle of something when the camera changes. Also shown here, we have a spear from Edge. However, unlike Andre's finisher, there doesn't seem to be any camera cuts for running moves. Cutting back to The Rock and Andre, here we see The Rock perform a straight throw, which is what we've seen a lot of in the trailer, with The Rock performing an uppercut. However, it's unclear if you can use this throw to set up other moves like an RKO, or if it's only possible to perform strike attacks. Also shown off here, we have the pin bar, which takes on a more classic approach, in which you have to alternate between pressing the right and left trigger to fill the meter. Now, the gameplay isn't flawless, as there's a lot of missed grabbles like the one shown here. However, it's hard to tell if this is an issue with the gameplay or if this is just bad timing from the person playing. Moving on to match number 2, here we have John Cena and The Fiend taking on The Undertaker and Daniel Bryan in a tag team match, which is set inside a steel cage in the American autoshop. One of the things that you'll notice here from this gameplay is that the focus isn't just on escaping the cage, as there's also money on the line too, which will come in handy for all the different attire unlocks, with the money meters on each side of the screen keeping track of which team has collected the most. You'll also notice that the cage will occasionally spark up with blue electricity, which is a warning to get away from it, as should you be climbing the cage when the red lights flash, then this will see your character shocked, which sends them flying back down to the mat. As for the climbing, it's actually really fast to scale the cage, as you can see from this clip here. Then once you're at the top, all you need to do is hold down the A button, which will allow you to escape. So it's pretty fast paced, meaning that you'll have to constantly stay alert, especially when playing with multiple players. Before we head into our final match, here we have a quick look at the game's main menu, where we'll have options for campaign mode, tournament, King of the Battleground and the Battleground Challenge mode. However, the only options available in the demo are exhibition matches, which are listed separately for the men and women. Speaking of the women, here we have the women's selection screen featuring Asuka, Stephanie McMahon, Ronda Rousey and Sasha Banks, with Ronda being the highest rated woman in the build at 92, Asuka 85, Sasha 83 and Stephanie a lowly 75. Heading into the match, we're once again in the American Auto Shop, where you can see the likes of Ronda Rousey and Stephanie using the Flaming Fist power-ups to deal some damage, with one of the ways to do so being to throw your opponent into the air and then follow that up with a strike, as this leads to this spinning attack when the power-up is active. Heading to the outside, much like the crocodile in the Everglades, this area also has its own interactive element, as we have an orange car which is suspended next to the ring. To interact with the car, all you need to do is throw your opponent into the jack underneath it, as this will cause the car to come crashing down, which deals some major damage. So that's one of the interactive elements in this area. However, it's not the only one, as you'll notice that there's a stack of flammable barrels on the left side of the ring, which will occasionally be thrown over to ringside, where you can then pick them up and throw them into the ring, causing it to collapse. Unlike in other 2K games, this doesn't actually end the match, meaning you can go on and carry on wrestling on top of the broken ring. In this final clip, here we have another shot of the crowd throwing barrels to ringside before we then see Sasha Banks go on and pick up the win. So there you go, that's your first look at proper gameplay for WWE Battlegrounds. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you haven't already, please do hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, as I'll have plenty more Battlegrounds content coming your way next week. Until then though, thank you for taking the time to watch, have yourself an awesome day, and I'll catch you later.